really picking up his responsibility in doing so. And that can be a problem. That is a problem. And it should not happen that way. Your child is your responsibility. But just like they said in the In Tune song, sometimes, it's not all about the biological father. Sometimes it's the coach, it's the teacher, it's somebody in your religious community. Somebody, maybe it's the deacon or somebody that's part of the choir board or something like that, and they then become like a father figure. Sometimes it's your uncle, sometimes it's your big brother, right? Sometimes your father figure is your big brother, and the child has to rely on that in order to show them whatever it is that they're looking for. A little boy trying to become a man, or a little girl that's trying to figure out, how does the man fit into my life? How does the male fit into my life? So it's definitely something that needs to be considered. So another one of That's My Song, this is from a long time ago for me. But this is Papa Don't Preach, right? So this is a little girl. We've done a lot about little boys, but this is a little girl about her father and the impact of, maybe doing something that brings questions in your family. But it's like, now I don't. This is a little girl, and she ends up, getting herself into a bad situation, such as like maybe a pregnancy at a very young age. Which means there's some kind of sexual activity going on. But she's like, Papa, don't preach. Papa, don't preach. Just hear me out. I'm in trouble deep. I'm in trouble deep, Daddy. And so I need you to be my father. Don't, preach to me about, what could have prevented all of this, or, don't preach. Talk to me. Let's figure out what we're going to do. Anyway, so this is Madonna, and this is Papa Don't Preach. Okay, Soul Circle. So that was Madonna. That's my song, Papa Don't Preach. So again, that goes into, with that relationship with dads and fathers and all, remember last week was celebrating the kings, and this week, there is there can be a bad side. But like I told you, I have a very special guest on the phone, and he has given some motivation and inspiration so that all fathers can be the best that they can be. So, Soul Circle, put your hands together. Put your hands together for Mr. Bruce Edwards. Bruce, are you there with me?
Yes, I'm here with you. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for linking up with the Soul Circle. As you know, this is, and I wanted you to round this show out, right? So like I said, last week it was a celebration of the kings, all the men that kind of, they stand up and they do what they're supposed to do. And so this week is it can be the ugly side. People are like, well, I don't like my father. I don't mess with him, or the fathers that are absent. And I know that you're going to tell us about your book that gives, men resources and motivation to be the best father they can be. Tell us about your book, Bruce.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. First off, my book is called the 14 Virtues of a Good Father, and the subtitle is Navigational Tools for the Father Inside of Every Man. Because I just truly believe that every man, if he really sit down and focus, there's some things that God has really birthed in him that he can impart to latter generations. That being the seeds he himself has birthed, or actually, other children in the community who have actually grown up to be fatherless. And so with that, I came up with 14 different principles or virtues, if you will. They're like basically morals that I believe every, father-to-be can aspire to impart to their offspring. And but it's a book not only just for fathers, but for also children growing up without fathers.
Okay.
Grandparents who are raising their grandchildren, as well as single mothers.
Okay. I did not know that, and so I'm glad you shared that with me about your book. So you said you have in your book you bestow upon people that read it and enjoy it the 14 virtues of the good father. What are one of the virtues that you believe make a good father?
I can just take the first one. I think one of the most critical components is basically self-identity.
Okay.
Because if a man cannot identify who himself to be, then it's hard for him to bestow values upon someone else if you yourself is lost.
Right. Okay.
So you must have to first identify yourself as a man and basically know who you are and be in tune with that person in order to, impart some God-given things to those who've fallen behind, particularly knowledge, insight, wisdom. You have to build upon those things that you know yourself to be,
right,
or else we'll be perpetuating ignorance. So one of the first ones I deal with is really just self-identity. And particularly why self-identity is important is because the youngsters actually define their own self-esteem based upon who they view their father to be.
Wow.
And so how that foundation is being laid is critically important for that father to also not only be present, but also be involved in that child's life, as well as in his family.
Wow. I mean, and that is just really like a basic type of concept. Like, I love the idea of self-identity because that is so important. So when you say self-identity, is that what, like, the outside of the man, what they're telling him he is, or is this something he can find within himself?
It's more so how he views himself and what he defines himself after. And so what I really deal with is in terms of so many men are so misguided because they define themselves based upon, athletic talent, how many women they can get the attention of, how many children they've actually had, or better yet, off materialism, their type of education that they have, or how much money that they have, and so there's a lot of things that really just surface, and that's how men are actually misidentified. But when you get to the heart of it, it's like, okay, so what are you driven by?
Right.
Like, I mean, what are your overall goals? But yeah, who are you going to help? You know what I mean? How do you see yourself if everything is stripped away? You know what I mean? And so it really encourages a man to dig deeper to find something in terms of that's intrinsic, in terms of his overall self-value outside of like worldly norms. And so, you know, and those are the things that really inspire wisdom, intellect, and knowledge that can really benefit later generations.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you aren't making a difference between like maybe a young father, like maybe a father that's like 20 years old versus a father who is like 40 years old. It really is just about his self-identity regardless of age.
Correct. And because one thing I've noticed is that your age doesn't always dictate your level of maturity. And so I've encountered some men that could be, 50 going on 20. You know what I mean? Because they haven't actually matured yet, or that they've been misidentified at such an early age. They really have not encountered the proper intervention of their lives to help redirect them. And so it's regardless of age, the self-identity, it causes you, because I've also met some 20-year-olds who are actually further along in their growth spurt,
wow.
in their maturity. Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it's basically due to their life experiences. So, it just causes someone to sit back, have a reflection, and primarily, just introspective, so to speak, and just take time out to see and define themselves as to who am I? What am I about? And so many times I can ask those two questions to people out in my community, right. And it'll be a long pause, or it'll be something that surfaced, or someone will actually tell you, I don't know, I've never been asked that, I never thought about that. I can go to work every day.
Right.
And so we really have to look deep, because once you properly identify yourself, then you can have an ingrained goal in terms of who you were trying to help, and then you would also know who's also looking up to you, particularly your children who are following behind you.
Right.
Because they're going to be looking for you for direction. So, your identity dictates your direction for them to follow.
Wow. That is a lot. That is a lot. But people need to digest this, because we need the best mothers and the best fathers, right, in the lives of our children. And so that definitely, that helps. But, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, like, all of this experience you have in fatherhood and the virtues of being a father. Do you have children of your own?
Yes, I have two daughters, ages 13 and 6, and they're definitely like my pride and joy.
Yes,
yes,
they
mean the world to me, and they watch everything that I do.
Yeah,
because when much is given, much is expected, and comes a greater sense of responsibility. Mm-hmm. And so, just walking in that, and most importantly, one of the concepts I built upon in my book when I had daughters. I haven't been blessed with a son, at least not yet. But when I had daughters, I asked the question, okay,